champions are back home. She'll be telling us that and much more later on in this live broadcast.
For now, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Purity Museo. Feel free to interact with us. Tell us where you tuned in from at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag to use is Prime Edition.
Very well, and my name is Mboya. We will go straight to our top story tonight. The controversy surrounding the Turkish national Harun Aydin deepened today with his lawyer saying he had been deported. His legal team, led by lawyer Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, said that they would be seeking a judicial review as well as other legal avenues to bring him back, asserting that the businessman had a legal working permit that expires in 2023.
And this comes as the Deputy President William Ruto maintained that the arrest of the businessman was political, as Sarafina Robi now tells us.
Turkish businessman Harun Aydin, who was expected in court on Monday morning, has been deported from the country. Aydin had been arrested by DCI sleuths on Saturday evening on reasons yet to be made clear. Aydin's legal team, led by lawyer Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, accompanied by Kapsuret Member of Parliament Oscar Sude, will confirm his deportation.
Tumeconfirm, tulikuwa tumesikia kuanzia asubuhi, lakini tulikuwa tunataka confirmation kabisa. Tumeconfirm ya kwamba wamemdeport kwa sababu hii mambo yote ni siasa. Kama vile nilisema kuanzia last week ya kwamba huyo mwekezaji Aaron ninamjua kutoka kule kwao, na nikaomba ya kwamba kama anashikwa wanishike na mimi, na kama ni terrorist pia mimi ni terrorist.
The legal team has ever vowed to file a judicial review challenging the deportation process, since Aydin is believed to have a valid work permit.
We'll file a judicial review. There's a procedure to challenge all government decisions, especially administrative decisions like this. I think the decision is either made by the Director of Immigration or the Minister in charge. And it happens everywhere in the world that when deportation like this one is done for extra legal purpose, because it has nothing to do with the law. It is, the law is a casualty in this process.
Sodi has termed the arrest and failure by the ODPP to present the businessman in court as a political act.
Hii mambo yote ilikuwa siasa. Na kama vile nilivyosema jana, kama mnatafuta naibu wa rais, mkujie naibu wa rais direct. Mwache kuumiza watu hawana hatia, mwache kuumiza wanabiashara. Wameumiza wanabiashara wengi wa Kenya.
We will get, we will ventilate his grievance through the court system, and I'm confident that when you try that process through the court will reach a decision that Harun was unfairly treated. It was done contrary to the constitution, and he should be brought back to this country.
Sentiments shared by Deputy President William Ruto, who through his Twitter account termed the arrest as political and a threat to the country's economy. This comes as different references were made to a different 29-year-old Harun Aydin, who was arrested in 2001 in Germany on allegations related to terrorism, but later released after the prosecution failed to give enough evidence. Well, with the arrest of Harun Aydin having raised a lot of political debate in the country, we now wait to see the legal grounds that will be filed due to his deportation. For Prime Edition, I'm Serafina Robbie.
And of course, we'll be keeping our fingers on the pulse of that story. Let's look at an item here on campaign spending limits. And the presidential candidates in next year's general election will only be allowed to spend approximately 4.5 billion shillings in their campaigns. Candidates vying for governorship, senator, and women rep in Turkana, Nairobi, as well as Marsabit will be the highest spenders, using more than 100 million shillings, while Lamu ranks last in terms of spending, with candidates seeking the same positions expected to spend approximately 22 million shillings. Now, the spending limits released by Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission have also capped political party spending at 17.7 billion shillings.
With the aim of curbing corruption and other electoral malpractices in the country during next year's general election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has released campaign financing and spending limits for all elective seats in the country. Those who wish to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta will spend a maximum of 4.4 billion shillings in the next election, IEBC says will be held on the 9th of August next year. Those seeking governorship, senator and woman rep positions in Turkana will be the highest spenders at 123 million shillings, while those seeking for the same positions in Nairobi will spend 117 million shillings. In Marsabit, those seeking the same positions will spend 114 million shillings, closing the list of the top 3 spenders. Lamu candidates for governorship, senator and woman rep positions will spend the list using approximately 22 million shillings. In the constituency level, the positions will spend between 11 million to 94 million shillings in Tetu and North Hor constituencies, respectively. Because of the vastness of the wards, North Hor ward in Marsabit will have candidates in the race spend 20 million, making them the highest spenders, followed by Chorab ward in Isiolo and Wayu ward in Tana River. Considering the costs of hiring venues, printing campaign material, nomination fees, transport, communication and other costs, political parties have a leeway of spending approximately 17.7 billion shilling. A closer look at the spending in the 2017 general election against the spending caps put by IEBC. The million-dollar question is whether the political actors will adhere to the spending limits. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
And public servants seeking elective office have 6 months to resign ahead of the August 2022 general election. The directive follows a 2017 court ruling that removed the provision that public officers remain in office while contesting in elections. While enumerating the countdown to the forthcoming polls, Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairperson Wafula Chebukati said the commission will be forced to scale down its operations due to lack of funds.
Public servants seeking elective posts must resign in February next year as the countdown to the August polls officially kicks off. The enforcement follows a 2017 ruling by the Court of Appeal in Nyeri that did away with the stipulation that public officers could stay in office while contesting in a general election.
Let them resign and go, and let other Kenyans take those positions.
With exactly a year to the August 9th general election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairperson Wafula Chebukati exuded confidence on delivering a credible election, dismissing calls for a referendum.
We are not preparing and we have not commenced any preparations for referendum, BBI. So the Commission is doing nothing about the BBI, but we all wait for the outcome of the Court of Appeal decision.
Chebukati, however, lamented that the Commission is short of 14 billion shillings, forcing them to scale down operations.
This amount we're asking for is actually the bare minimum, and we're urging the National Treasury to provide sufficient funds so that the activities of the Commission in managing the elections are not disrupted.
IEBC is collaborating with security agencies to curb electoral malpractices, even as they strive to penalize 71 cases filed in the previous elections. Director of Public Prosecution Nuruddin Haji called for a review of the Election Offences Act to expedite dispensation of justice.
If more emphasis is also placed on the criminal aspect of election offences, then you will probably see the incidences reduced.
Stakeholders from the Kenya Media Sector Working Group, led by Editors Guild Chairperson Churchill Otieno, are rooting for the civic empowerment of media practitioners ahead of the elections. Juni Karisa Mbele for the Prime Edition from Mombasa County.
Let's now shift gears. Kenya will continue to champion environmental friendly and sustainable exploitation of the blue economy. President Uhuru Kenyatta has said failure to exploit water resources responsibly will cause more conflicts along the global coastlines. President Kenyatta told a high-level meeting on enhancing maritime security that strengthening the international legal regime and institutions will help forestall these challenges. O'Brien Kimani reports.
World waters have become the new flashpoints for major global powers. From the South China Sea to the Strait of Hormuz, world waters are becoming the new battlefronts. The world depends on the maritime domain for food security, navigation for international trade, tourism and ecological heritage, among other essential aspects. Speaking at a high-level meeting on enhancing maritime security, President Uhuru Kenyatta stated that piracy, narcotics, trafficking, arms smuggling, and other transnational threats all thrive in maritime space, undercutting government authority and investor confidence.
The maritime domain is inadvertently a field prone to insecurity that affects coastal nations and entire region stability. Piracy, narcotic trafficking, arms smuggling, and other transnational threats all thrive in the maritime space, undercutting government authority and investor confidence.
The head of state stated that piracy remains a threat to shipping in the Straits of Malacca, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Aden, where criminal networks are active in piracy, illicit trafficking of persons, firearms, narcotics, and illegal fishing.
We are, however, alive to the threats in the rim, which deserve much more multinational cooperation and multinational attention if we hope to sustain the economic progress achieved so far.
President Kenyatta has said unless addressed with nuance, these issues will continue to undermine the security of the coastal states and the maritime domain.
We need better coordinated existing maritime security strategies and mediation mechanisms. This we can by strengthening the international legal regime and institutions at the forefront of addressing maritime security.
The meeting has called for strengthened emphasis on observing international law and resisting the lure of promoting proxy rivalries in pursuit of narrow interests.
Geopolitical rivalries that manifest in insecurity of the maritime domain must be limited. Competition between established and rising powers leaves us all worse off. Instead, we need a strengthened emphasis on observing international law and resisting the lure of promoting proxy rivalries in pursuit of narrow interests.
President Kenyatta has further said rising sea levels and extreme weather conditions, courtesy of climate change, threatens the existence of some small island states and coastal populations, calling for successful global climate change adaptation and mitigation measures. Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
As Deputy President William Ruto says he's working towards a conversation that will see Kenyans in the grassroots attain sustainable economic empowerment. Speaking in Nakuru County when he met a section of stakeholders and leaders drawn from the Nyanza region, Ruto said there is an elaborate plan to ensure the region is set towards prosperous economic future.
Deputy President Dr. William Ruto says the current conversation he's holding with leaders from various sectors of the economy will culminate in a national economic charter. The charter, according to the Deputy President, will be a commitment to Kenyans at the grassroots.
I am very proud that the conversation in Kenya has changed. I welcome all the other leaders, including my competitors, to engage the people of Kenya on this very important subject of the economy.
The Deputy President said among the areas of interest in Nyanza is the sugar industry, mining, blue economy, cotton sector, among others.
When I talk about bottom up and how I believe that it is time that we focus our attention on the jobless, on the struggling entrepreneurs, and on the resource-poor farmers. It is born out of my experience in government and the gaps that I have seen.
The Deputy President appears unbothered by his political dictators.
And I would challenge my competitors to give us their track record as well, so that we can compete. You know, apart from them giving us policy suggestions, if you haven't delivered on anything and you have no track record of delivering on anything, how do you expect the people of Kenya to believe you?
The Deputy President said the engagements will progressively cover all the counties, regions, and all sectors of our economy. Beatrice Getonyeng-Etich, Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, Wiper Party leader Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka says he will install a service-driven economy if he becomes president next year. Speaking during the launch of his command center in Karen, Nairobi, the former vice president outlined the pillars of his manifesto, which include economic recovery, agriculture, tourism, and the war on graft. Kevin Washira reports.
The Kalonzo Musyoka-led Wiper Democratic Party has set up a command center in readiness for the 2022 presidential campaign.
Ladies and gentlemen, SKM Command Center,
to witness the launch, where Kalonzo Musyoka's allies in the One Kenya Alliance, Kalonzo Musyoka outlined key agenda his government will focus on should he clinch the top seat next year.
And my bid, ladies and gentlemen, will be grounded on the following pillars. Number 1, economic recovery and development. Number 2, the green gold, which is agriculture. Number 3, zero tolerance on corruption. And to demonstrate how serious we are, we have the anti-corruption czar in our midst today, our brother John Githongo, who has volunteered to give us all the inputs that we require, and so we can be able to lead from the front. Number 4, sustainable debt management. And number 5, youth and women empowerment.
Kalonzo rubbishing the bottom-up economic approach, the anchor to Deputy President William Ruto's march to the ballot.
Dear Kenyans, make no mistake, there are no quick fixes to our current economic dilemma. No instant coffee solutions. However, I want to assure you that fixing our economic meltdown is doable and is achievable. While doing this, what I hear Kenyans to be saying is that they want a government that protects them from harm, not one that hurts them. We cannot elect leaders who seek to exploit our fears for their own political survival. How else will one propose a meaningless economic model that doesn't reflect his life journey? We must properly diagnose what ails Kenya and develop blueprints that work.
ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi called on IEBC to ensure the 2022 general election is free and fair.
We will work together, and eventually, through God's grace, I'm sure the door shall be opened and Kenya shall rise again.
Kevin Washira, Prime Edition.
Well, we're going to take a short break at this point. Remember, there's business news still coming up, and at the tail end of this broadcast, we will be ushering in for the first time Karen Kibet. She'll be telling us her other name.
But before then, coming up is our interactive segment, Perspective. Tonight, we speak with Kenneth Otieno on the role technology is playing and should be playing rather in the fight against COVID-19. So let's keep interacting at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag is Prime Edition.
Don't go away. Stay with us.
Kupata skiza tune ya Karau na DJ, bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash.
Raya, hii ni kwa matiche wote. Please, do not confuse the government. Usianza kufinya ile kitu inasema more fire. Ama ile ya the roof is on fire. Ama unaanza kusema we are killing this party. Ama the party is just a bomb. We are having a blast. No. Wewe cheza musiki and just be Fitland. Enjoy. Ama namna kani. Sawa sawa. Over and out.
Bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash. Star 811 star 967 hash.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
I love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the purpose. Huh?
Drama.
Will he assault the queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports, and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
Hey, what's up, Kenya? This is your one and only Queen, aka Swag Mama from Uganda. And guess what? You are watching The Grapevine. Don't touch it. Mwah. Love you.
Baby, I'm missing you, missing you. Yeah. Sema unarudi, baby.
They had taken a break kinda, and each one of them was doing their own thing, but they are coming back, and they're coming back with a bang.
You know, the thing about music and the music industry or the music business, it's a tricky business. You cannot just sing and sit. It's also, you have to hustle. It's a hustle business.
As usual, had the band always kill it. I mean, I never see anything wrong with had the
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Perspective. And tonight we speak matters, technology and the fight against COVID-19. And in studio we have Kenneth Otieno. He is a medical engineer and director at Gradient Health Systems. Thank you so much and welcome to our studios. I'm sure it's your first time after the revamp.
Thank you. It is.
Okay. Now, with the introduction of restrictions by the governments all over the world, you know, calls on let's embrace technology. We've been hearing all this from all sectors of, all sectors of the world. So is it okay if I say that the world of technology is enjoying, and the people who started using technology a long time ago, they are in a better place as far as being negatively impacted by COVID-19 pandemic is concerned?
Yeah, that's true. Technology has played a very big role, not only in fight against COVID-19, but even against, we've used a lot of technology to do diagnosis, to do therapy, and even research. For instance, now there are a lot of research that is going on with COVID-19, and what is helping us to move faster than it was before is the technology. Actually, people are wondering how comes the tests are becoming faster. Is because of the technology, the work that is put on there by the medical engineers, or not only to come up with equipment that are able to test, but also even the ones that are doing research, they're used in research.
And even being used in the business world, the fact that people have to stay at home and work from home, right?
Sure.
Now, was this how things were before the pandemic? You know, you've been using technology to respond to different medical issues, but now with the pandemic, a lot has to be done as far as responding to it is concerned, and technology is at the center of it all. Is this how technology has been for years, or we are seeing some improvement with the pandemic?
The pandemic has brought a lot of good things.
Yeah.
There are also bad things that has come with it, but there are also good things that has come with this pandemic. The technology has increased, and we are doing certain things which we used not to do before COVID. We have actually opened our minds to be working from home. We have opened our minds to do some testing, not only in the hospital, but even outside the hospital. So technology actually has really changed our lives, and is going to even be more. It is being tested now, how it can be able to change life and makes it much easier.
Yeah. So let's come to the role technology is playing in the fight against COVID-19. I know when we talk about COVID-19 and technology, even the testing process itself, it's courtesy of the technology. But maybe you can help us understand, especially at Gradient, what is the new, research that is ongoing or development, new equipment that we have as far as taking care or responding to the pandemic is concerned?
Thank you so much. At Gradient, we are an innovative company, innovative technology company that tries to not only develop equipments that work in areas that have a stronger infrastructure, but even in areas where we have a very weak infrastructures. And so when you look at some of the equipments that are developed by Gradient, they can be able to work in very deep rural areas, because in Gradient we believe all lives are important. And one thing that we have also realized is that apart from having the equipments that we use in diagnosis and therapy, we also have realized that we must be able to train our people. And COVID has made us develop things that we never thought of before. Now we have come up with simulation labs, which probably a long time used not to exist. And the simulation labs help us to ensure that the clinicians are trained in a setup that is more or less a ward or a ICU or a theater. And this is a technology that Gradient has brought to several countries in Africa, so that instead of working on a live patient, you have mannequins, you have this technology that enables you to treat the patient, because they can also react like any other human being.
Yeah.
And so this has been we've had a lot of interest in this, because we believe that equipment without training is as good as not being there. And so we have really been involved in trying to set up simulation labs. And one of them is the one that we launched 2 weeks ago at KMTC, that will enable the students to learn much and understand the real environment in the hospital in a lab. Yeah, and this is all technology. So by the time you go to the ward, you have all this confidence, because you have killed the mannequin and resurrected it and killed it again. Unlike human being, which if you kill, then it's gone.
Yeah, and we've been looking at researchers and questions, why are scientists not coming up with a cure for COVID-19? But biomedical engineers are also scientists. Maybe you can tell us how, and you come in, you come in with digital technologies. Maybe now you can tell us how technology has been at the center in the fight against COVID-19. Of course, we talked about PCR tests.
Yes.
Yes, how else?
I know medical engineers not only develop therapeutic or equipment for treatment, but they also develop equipment for research, which, and as I had mentioned, has enabled us to move very fast in testing. I remember when COVID came, it will take you a week to get your result. Now it takes you a day to get it, or even some few hours to get it. This is all technology that comes with these engineers. And even when it comes to treatment, the treatment like COVID-19 is changing every day. We started, I don't want to go to details, but we started with some equipments and we realized those ones do not work.
Maybe you can mention what we are using even with testing, because you said initially it would take a week before you could get your results, and now it's actually can confirm a few hours. Maybe what has changed in terms of technological advancement?
What has changed is the engineers have come up and looked at how effective can it be if we are able to make this thing faster, because sometimes you'll die before you get your results. And so equipments have come up which can be able to do this faster. Equipments have come up which can be able to treat you faster and even much better, and even monitor you much better than it was before. And all these are a lot of research, and it happens during this crisis that you're doing research because something has happened and you really want to capture and ensure that people are able to get a better diagnosis, better treatment, and even better monitoring during the time of treatment. Yes.
And let's get back to the role that technology is playing in the fight against COVID-19.
The technology, one, as I had said, is to ensure that the testing is okay. Actually, let me start from the research. That we have equipment that can be able to not only do an efficient research, but even ensure that they are accurate. And then when it comes to now testing, we are ensuring that the testing, the technology that comes up every day, ensuring that testing is done faster. And there you are in the ward, then we need to treat you, and then we have these equipments that are now able to treat you even much faster, and not only you, are able also to protect the users who are treating you, unlike probably before. So, for instance, I'll just say, if you are in some wards those days, you will not be able to have a clean air. So the user who is supposed to treat you was vulnerable, because anytime it can also get infected. But again, we are now changing. The air is being sucked out and a clean one sucked in, and so makes even the user have the confidence of ensuring that it treats you well. And all this is technology. And when it comes to treatment, we have seen COVID-19 is really changing very fast. And so as it changes, technology also changes, so that you are able to be able to eliminate or treat the patients as fast as possible.
But the change maybe appears to be faster in some countries than others. I can give you an example. With the test results, we are still not faster than some countries that I know. Like, let's say, for example, here it takes a day, but there are places where you could literally wait for your results. And if other examples, like for example, here in Kenya, we are not able to even store some vaccines such as Pfizer because we don't have the equipment. Maybe we can look at what are some of the challenges to ensuring that we are at par with even developed countries, if I may say so. Yeah.
Right, I know we'll be there one time.
Yeah.
We are moving towards there, but I know the biggest challenge that we have is the human resource. Because having an equipment is one thing, having people who are competent enough to use it is another thing. And also, the other thing is infrastructure. Do we have the necessary infrastructure to be able to accommodate these equipments? So all these are challenges which I think we may not be able to have in one day, sort out in one day. But I believe as we learn from others, and also as we try to have our own homegrown solutions, we'll be able to overcome some of these challenges.
And why I'm asking this question is because many Kenyans would want to know why we are not the ones, let's say, we were not even the ones coming up with a vaccine, not even Kenya. What is the problem? If we have the expertise, then why can't we have, is it a software that our engineers are yet to come up with that would really aid into having developing a vaccine,
Yeah, it might be a long story, but I believe it has to do with infrastructure, equipment, and the training. And more so, how much do we put in research? How much do we put in technology? And those are the challenges. And how much we put in human resource, because you can have the equipment, but if there are no human resource competent enough to handle them, it also becomes as good as useless. So I think these are the challenges that we have: the infrastructure, the human resource, the experts, the expertise that we can be able to handle this. But I know with time probably we'll be there.
Right. And as we speak, is there any new research that is ongoing, especially the world is still racing towards getting a cure for COVID-19 disease? Maybe do we have any new research going on, or maybe biomedical engineers in Kenya, are you coming up, are we looking at coming up with either an equipment or software that would really be used in getting a cure for the disease?
I know, I'm not a researcher, but I know the research, there are a lot of researches that are going on. But one thing that I know has been of interest, and we as biomedical engineers in Kenya has been trying to do, is to come up with equipments that can be able to reduce our cost of buying equipment from outside. But I know the challenges that we have is that it requires money, it requires experts to be able to assist those who have the idea. And I think that is the biggest challenge we have. But I think the medical engineers, I know, you remember when the COVID came, there were so many ventilators which came up and were developed, and I think they're still going on. One time you'll see one in the market.
And finally, how have the technological companies benefited from this? Because it's a necessary evil to some people, like for example, those looking at digital technology, people are working from home, therefore there are so many opportunities. Maybe you can help us understand what opportunities that Kenyans can tap in.
I know that there are a lot of opportunities which has come up with, in as much as there has been challenges, but there are a lot of opportunities which have come up with the challenges of COVID-19. But I will want to talk as a person who is in the medical field, and as a biomedical engineer. It has opened our minds to be able to think broader. You know, when COVID-19 came, equipments were first given, taken by people who have the money. And countries which were not having money could not be able to have these equipments. So it opened our minds that really we should be able to have homegrown solutions to our problems. And this really has created a lot of research and a lot of innovations that are going on, which I think is good for us. Without that, we were probably relaxed because there were no challenges. You know, innovations come with challenges. And as Gradient, who works in very challenging environments, we've come up with equipments which are be able to work in areas, especially our ventilators are able to work in rural areas where you really don't have a stronger infrastructure as compared if it was here in town. And these are technologies which have come up because of the, or innovations that have come up because of the need that has that we've been able to, the challenges we have had.
Indeed, technology playing a greater role, especially in getting medical health solutions. Thank you so much, Kenneth Otieno, for making time for us. We do appreciate, but we have to wrap it up there, and we wish you all the best as you continue with your research and innovations and trying to develop new equipment and softwares in the fight against COVID-19. Thank you so much. That's where we wrap it up. Thank you for watching. We take a short break, but we still have business news and sports coming up shortly. Stay with us.
What does this number mean to you? A pack leader? A winner? Or just a number? To us, it means freshness, boldness, vibrancy, and heritage. That's why at KBC Channel 1, we make it easier for you to pop up your family entertainment to a fresh, exciting, and colorful bouquet.
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo.
She told me the truth. That's why I'm here. I want to see my parents.
But don't you think it's time that we call a doctor?
Take her to your apartment in secret and let us know, so that the two of us can have a word with her, and we can erase her from the face of the earth.
And Ceci has thrown me out, and I'm very sure that she's plotting against you with Ulises Artiaga, because until now she's still bent on separating Ivan from Mariana.
I'm placing you under arrest for the murder of Mr. Horacio Espinosa.
No, what?
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
I love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the popos. Huh?
Drama.
Will you assault the queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports, and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
Bado sisi wenye nyumba tutoke kwa nyumba mwingie nyinyi, alafu mtaishi amstarehe mfreshane. Una kazi ya kufanya wewe?
Yaani wewe unajiingilia mahali tu unajiingilia tu. Je, ningekushinda kupiga mapanga ingekwaje?
Kina nani ni wapenzi? Wewe na Safari. Sasa tumfuta yupi?
Bado una vita na mimi sio?
Hapana. Wewe hasa una matatizo gani mwanamke wewe?
Kwa nini shemeji?
Na akijua kwamba hiyo penalty haiko panda na nyumba, hautafurahikia.
Welcome back. We apologize for that technical hitch. Now, moving on to the latest in the world of business. My name is Carol Jenga. Now, a section of those in the agriculture sector are lobbying Parliament to carry out an impact assessment on banning in Kenya pesticides outlawed in other developed countries such as Europe. Led by Fresh Produce Consortium CEO Olejapat Okisegere, the group argues that banning some of the pesticides would hurt Kenya's food safety efforts. Let's take a look at that story.
Here, a petition filed by Western Gishu woman representative Gladys Bose Sholei asked Parliament to order the ban on the use of 262 harmful pesticides in the Kenyan market, banned in the Europe, the United Kingdom and the US. The petition was adopted by a health committee who recommended, among others, that the Pest Control Products Board, PCPB, ensure that the chemicals banned in other jurisdictions are not in use in Kenya. And Monday, the Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya, the National Potato Council of Kenya and the Cereal Growers Association opposed the petition and called on the National Assembly to carry out an impact assessment of such a decision.
Those who are outside the agricultural space may not understand the crisis that looms in case the current proposal in Parliament of banning the 262 molecules takes effect. The plant protection products are essential to our agricultural food systems, particularly on food security and nutrition.
Okisegere says the proposal to ban the pesticides will lead to a maize production crisis, reduce tomato production by 80%, and drastically affect the harvest of coffee, potato, wheat, rice, onions, and most other crops.
Whatever we do, the processes must be very well guided by science and by the right policies.
They are calling for a review of the proposed ban of the pesticides.
Still on agriculture, and we focus more on sorghum farming. Sorghum farmers should embrace a new variety that is less appealing to the birds. Seed specialists at the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropicals say the new variety, known as EUS1, is also fast maturing, drought resistant and high yielding.
Most farmers in sorghum producing areas have given up on sorghum farming, cancelling contracts with millers and brewers as birds consume the crop before maturity.
Wakati huo tulifanya contract na Kenya Breweries na tulipanda aina ya mtama unaitwa Kadam, ule mweupe. Tuliendelea miaka miwili lakini tukawacha kwa sababu bei ilikuwa mbaya na huu mtama gadamu unapendwa na ndege.
The farmers are now being advised to take up cultivation of the new EU S1 sorghum variety that is less appealing to the birds and is fast maturing.
One special attribute about our sorghum is that it can be dual purpose. Like you can see, it is green, so it can still be fed to the animals and has high nutritive value. We have done, and we saw it has a lot of it has high nutritive value compared to the white one. The white one was actually mainly for East African breweries.
Angalia, utaona mahindi hapa iko green, lakini mtama ina withstand drought, so it's drought tolerant na early maturing.
The new variety developed by Egerton University has a potential to produce 3 tons per hectare as compared to the current popular Gadam variety that produces an average of 500 kilos.
The yield potential nationally is about 500 kg per hectare, but you see we are talking of up to 3 tons per hectare when we introduce this variety.
The International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, is training farmers on seed production and proper sorghum husbandry to increase production.
Millers wanapenda mtama sana kwa sababu ndio wanauzia supermarkets unga ya uji. Kuna wakati nilipeleka mpaka Kajiado kwa sababu huko wanunua vizuri 60 per kilo.
Policymakers believe if sorghum production is increased, it will relieve pressure on maize and save the country the huge export bill.
Now, plans to open up northern Kenya through a new transport corridor appears to be bearing fruits by facilitating trade between Kenya and Ethiopia. The completion of the 520-kilometer Isiolo-Moyale highway has opened up the region to tourism, trade and industries. Drivers plying the route says that the time spent on the road has been reduced to 10 hours, easing movement of goods and people. Kenya plans to open up a new Lamu to Moyale transport corridor to spur economic development in northern Kenya and complement the existing northern transport corridor. The plan involves construction of highways, airports, crude oil infrastructure, resort cities, among other projects. Since the completion of the 520 kilometers road between Isiolo and Moyale towns, cross-border business has improved, reducing travel time between Kenya and Ethiopia. Residents of Isiolo, Samburu and Marsabit counties say the road network has become the most important piece of infrastructure as it has eased the movement of goods and people. Lorry drivers plying along the route acknowledge the positive impact it has brought, saying time spent on the road has reduced to just 10 hours, with cases of highway banditry dropping to an all-time low.
Mbeleni tulikuwa tunaenda kwa wiki moja, siku hizi hata tunafika tu kwa siku moja. Kama askari hawatuzuii hapa, tunafika haraka. Hiyo barabara sio mbaya, ni mzuri na biashara inafanyika vizuri.
Security wise iko salama because kama saa hii I have driven since morning na hakuna mali nimeshuhudia any insecurity.
Government spokesman Cyrus Oguna, who was on an inspection tour of the highway, noted that the ease in movement has opened up the region for business and development, a fact that is supported by the high number of small towns and settlements coming up along the highway.
Hii barabara inaleta kudumisha na kuimarisha uhusiano baina ya nchi jirani ya jirani ya Ethiopia ili kuweza kuendeleza biashara ili tuweze kujenga uchumi zetu ikiwa ni wananchi wa Ethiopia pamoja na wananchi wa Kenya.
Oguna was accompanied by officials from Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, LAPSSET Authority and the President's Delivery Unit. Well, and that is how we wrap up business news tonight. I'll be handing you over now to Karen Kibet, who will be debuting tonight as she brings you the sports update. Have a good night. My name is Carol Jenger.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. I am humbled to be here. Now, direct into it. Athletics Kenya has praised athletes who represented the country in the Tokyo Olympics, saying they put up a good show in Japan despite the challenges experienced in their preparations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Kenya finished 19th on the medal standings after bagging 10 medals, 4 gold, 4 silver and 2 bronze medals, the best medal tally in the African continent.
Despite a poor start in the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, Team Kenya would later redeem themselves in Japan, winning a total of 10 medals as the games came to a close on Sunday.
Ningependa niseme tumefurahia sana. Michezo yenyewe ilikuwa imeandalika vizuri sana, isipokuwa sababu ya hii COVID business kulikuwa na restrictions mingi, lakini sababu tulikuwa hata tumezoea hapa nyumbani, tukajimudu nao mpaka tukawa washindi namna hiyo.
Emmanuel Korir secured Kenya's first gold in the 800 meters, with Faith Kipyegon securing the second gold in the 1500 meters race. Peres Jepchirchir and Eliud Kipchoge would then bag both gold medals in the marathons.
For me, nilikuwa nakimbia race yangu, sikuwa naona Sifan Hassan. Kila mtu alikuwa after Sifan, so kila mtu alikuwa utafanyia nini huyu msichana. But for me, nilikuwa nakimbia race yangu juu nilikuwa nimeprepare well. After Monaco, ile race nilikimbia Monaco. Nilikuwa nimekuwa na ile courage ya kwenda kudefend title yangu Tokyo.
The challenge actually was, maybe I can say it was strong. It was tough. The way you guys watched it in the TV, it was not easy. But at last, I mean, we came on with something.
Timothy Cheruiyot in the 1500 meters, Ferguson Rotich in the 800 meters, Helen Obiri 5000 meters, and Bridget Kosgei marathon bagged silver for Kenya.
The competition was tough because everyone was prepared to win it, and we really work hard to be in the podium.
Benjamin Kigen and Hyvin Kieng won 2 bronze medals for Kenya as they finished third in the men's and women's 3000 meters steeplechase races respectively.
Congratulations, Team Kenya. You definitely did us proud, and also the continent at large. Now moving on, but still in Olympics. Despite representing the country for the first time in the 100 meters men's race in an Olympic competition, sprinter Ferdinand Omanyala became the first Kenyan to reach the semi-finals of the 100 meters, while also setting a new national record of 10.0 seconds. Omanyala now believes he is getting a step closer to bagging Kenya's first gold medal in the 100-meter race.
It was the first time Kenya participated in the 100 meters in an Olympic event, with Ferdinand Omanyala leading pack alongside the former 100 meters record holder, Mark Otieno. However, Mark was disqualified for the race after failing a doping test, with Omanyala left to seek Kenya's first gold in the distance.
So when I was called, actually my name was the first on the list for the guys who are being called today to go and represent the country at the Olympic Games. That alone was a pride that I still hold on to it up to now. It was a very good and something that I'll always remember in my entire career.
After finishing third in the heats, Omanyala qualified for the semi-finals, which he also finished in the third position, but didn't qualify for the finals.
So when I saw my heat and I was heat 5 with I think everybody in that heat had a sub 10 and I was the only one who had a 10-0. But then I told myself, these are just people like me. They qualified like I did, so let's do it.
Omanyala, however, was glad to set a new national record and also believes that one day he will bang an Olympic gold medal. He also encouraged the athletes to continue working hard for Team Kenya and also urged the citizens to always give morale to their athletes instead of mocking them.
I've been reading comments about Kenyans that they're trolling people on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. They don't know how much sacrifice these athletes are making to get just only at the Olympic Games. So when I look at the comments and I see people talking bad about athletes, I feel bad, because if you look the sacrifice that all these athletes have made, they have given their best when they get to that field.
Daniel Mwendwa for Prime Edition Sports.
The Kenya tennis team, which will take part in the forthcoming Africa Group 3 tennis tournament, slated for August 11th to 14th in Cairo, Egypt, is exuding confidence of registering impressive results at the tourney. The team made up of Ismail Changawa, Kevin Cheriot, Albert Njogu and Ibrahim Kibet, as well as reserve player Derek Ominde, will battle for the 2 tickets available for promotion to 2022 World Group 2. The Group 3 championship has attracted hosts Egypt, Kenya, Algeria, Benin, Ghana, Mozambique and Rwanda. The 7 countries will be drawn in 2 groups. Nations finishing in the Group 2 of each group will compete in playoff for promotion, with the winner of Group A facing the runner-up of Group B and the winner of Group B meeting the runner-up of Group A. And finally, Kenya's representatives to the CAF Champions League next season, Tusker FC, are still top of the FKF Premier League standings after KCB missed out on the chance to go top of the league. Following their barren draw against champions Gor Mahia, FC Leopards sits third on 47 points, 11 points behind Tusker, who lead KCB on goal difference, with Bandari and Nairobi City Stars completing the top 5 respectively. And that's all we had for you right here at the KBC Primetime Sports News. Let's do this all over again tomorrow, same time, same place. My name is Karen Kibet. Do have yourself a lovely night, but the bulletin is not yet over, as I do hand you back to Purity and Tom.
And welcome home, Karen.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Where is Marakwet?
Marakwet?
Yeah.
In Elgeyo Marakwet.
Is in Elgeyo Marakwet. Wow, that's beautiful. You know, there's a quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I'm looking at Ferdinand Omanyala. And you know what? I'm beginning to take him seriously.
Yes.
Yeah?
People should watch out for that man. Because in 2022, there will be major exploits coming from him.
And it would be good for the 100-meter dash. Oh my goodness.
He has already made history so far. But next year, he will stamp his authority in the 100 meters. So stay tuned.
Beautiful.
Yes.
How does it feel? You wait for the Olympics to get over is when you debut.
Maybe she was in Tokyo. Should you tell us?
Yeah.
You saved the best for the last.
But well done. Well done.
Thank
and welcome.
So
and welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Purity and Tom.
All right. And of course, Karen did it for the sports, and that's where we bring it to an end here.
Remember tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Chief Justice Emeritus.
Dr.
Willie Mutunga.
Willie Mutunga. Tom will be having that conversation tomorrow. So Prime Edition continues, but for now, it's a wrap. Thank you for watching. I'm Purity Museo. Good night and God bless.
God bless.
My name is Mboya. Thank you for watching from the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya. Good night.
Good night.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call